Look. He had a breath right now. Had no guys, I'm fucking tired. Fuck. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Gennadiy, had no guys, big drama. I'm back with the punches. I'm punches and bunches. Listen, Gennadiy Golovkin versus Ryota Murata in Japan. I had to review the fight because the fight was on at a ridiculous time in California. It came on at like 2 in the morning, so I wasn't getting up for that. But I just caught the fight, and I want to give my thoughts. Triple G did not look great to me. Let's start in. The early half, Ryota Murata was doing much better than anticipated. One thing that should immediately draw red flags is, although they were both coming off of layoffs, Ryota Murata is a guy who was coming off a longer layoff. Ryota Murata, you see, has not fought since 2019. December 23rd, 2019. And this fight is taking place April 9th, 2022. So that should be very alarming, and it goes to show that Triple G absolutely is not in his prime. Let's also get this understood. In my honest opinion, nothing against the guy, Ryota Murata has never been perceived to me as a world beater. He lost to Rob Brandt, who lost in the World Boxing Super Series, right? And then later got beat by Murata and stopped by Murata in 2 rounds. But Ryota Murata was just never that dude that everybody was checking for at all. Like Triple G or whoever, Canelo or the Charlos, Demetrius Andrade. He's never been in that elite list of names. So Triple G's performance was pretty abysmal. In the early goings, Ryota Murata was doing a lot, considering, as I just revealed, he hadn't fought since 2019. So, he wasn't doing half bad. Subscribe to the channel. I'm the best in the business. Ryota Murata, he was very aggressive, kind of an Antonio Margarito, will not back down, no retreat, no surrender type of style. He was trying to pile the punishment on Triple G, and he was having success with it. Even in the early rounds, you seen Gennadiy, had no guys, this is big drama, right? You seen Gennadiy Golovkin being forced back. Now, one thing I've learned in the sport of boxing is to tell if a guy is in his prime. This is just my rule of thumb. When a guy is known for X, Y, and Z, and he can no longer deliver that main signature thing that he's known for, that's when they're either past their prime or they need to hang him up probably shortly. And that's kind of what it was. Now, although Triple G's chin held up, again, Ryota Murata, I don't even know if he's that sinister of a puncher because I never really rated him at the top of his class. But a lot of the other things that Triple G, Gennadiy Golovkin, is known for, they weren't all too apparent. Like Triple G years ago when he was fighting Daniel Gill and guys like Marco Antonio Rubio, these guys had such a difficult time dealing with his power. And his power was like shocking and paralyzing. And it's just not the same way. Like Murata was taking the shots early and he was successful. And I'll get to what changed in the fight to culminate in Triple G getting the stoppage victory. But Ryota Murata was walking him down and successfully backing Triple G up, which in the past, that's another thing. Triple G, he wasn't the type of fighter to take steps backwards, and he was doing that. The other thing to note is the body shot. Yes, the body shot. The body shots were hurting Triple G, and the body shots were definitely having an effect on Triple G. He's 40 years old. He had a birthday recently, so he's 40 years old at this moment. I think his birthday might have been when he was in Japan, and this is kind of a young man's game, just like acting. Boxing is a young man's game. If you were an actor from the 70s, how many actors that were the biggest stars in the 60s, 70s are the biggest stars right now? Like, if you look at the Harrison Fords and Robert Duvall's, and I'm not ishing and dumping on and trying to dunk on legends. These are people that are, cinematic legends, but it's acting. Hollywood is a young man's game. So after Han Solo and Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones. They're looking for the new guy that's younger and built in Marvel movies or whatever the situation is. And that's kind of what it is here. So the fact that Triple G had all of these problems with Murata, who was coming on a long layoff and was never really considered or ranked like a world beater. I understand titles and stuff like that, but he got elevated up a title, and that's a whole nother situation. But, Murata did very good in the front half of the fight. Another telltale sign that Triple G is not the same fighter is at age 40, he was panting, his mouth was open, his hands were low, and he was breathing heavy after 2 rounds. These are not good signs, people. He was breathing heavy. When he was in the corner, he was breathing heavy. It's taking its toll. All the amateur fights, all the pro fights, they're adding up. And luckily he was in there with a guy who was more inactive than he, and, not the highest. Imagine if that was a Charlo, Canelo, Andre, somebody who's fresher. Man, Triple G was breathing heavy after the 2nd round. Now, what changed is Triple G stuck the course. He has a lot of experience from the amateurs and pros. In the 6th round, he had a shot that he landed a solid right. It was almost like it caught Murata off guard, and Murata was like trying to get in position, and Triple G caught him with the short right. Bap! His mouthpiece flew out of his mouth, as you guys see in this picture. And from that moment on, Murata never really fully recovered. And credit to Triple G for that, because it takes experience and it takes a certain style and power just to capitalize. Because I've seen guys have guys hurt bad. Like you look at James, what's the name? James DeGale versus Andre Durrell. He dropped him a couple times in the early rounds, and then by the fight's end, you could have said that Durrell won, or the judges said it was a draw. So some guys let people off the hook. So credit to Triple G, he didn't let him off the hook, and Murata never really covered. And then it was just too exhaustive. Triple G still has heavy hands, and by round 9, he landed another right that he was out of it. He was discombobulated. And when Triple G landed that right in round 9, it kind of spun the man around. And he spun around and then kind of just fainted and fell to his knees. He wasn't knocked unconscious. He was on all 4s, and he was like panting. His corner threw in the towel. The rest is history. So congrats to Triple G. It begs the $1 million question. The Canelo Alvarez Triple G fight. Does Boxingego change his opinion? And do I now want to see it? Absolutely not. Listen, like I said before, I'm the best in the business, and Ego Stradamus strikes again. Triple G, he looked a shell of his former self. Them body shots were tearing him up. So now who wants to see him fight on DAZN Boxing versus Canelo Alvarez on pay-per-view, since now they want to do pay-per-view after saying pay-per-view is dead? Canelo is a great volume, I can't say volume puncher, but great combination puncher. And he also has great paralyzing body shots, and he's younger. He's had more experience in the higher weights. Who wants to see Triple G versus Canelo at 168? That's going to be torture. I give Triple G no shot. I've been saying this. Triple G, one thing I've noticed throughout his career, and it might sound counterproductive, but hear me out. He doesn't like to be hit. He doesn't like to be hit at all. And I'm not saying that there's fighters that just love getting punched hard, but he's always seemed like when Kell Brook, it seems like almost to have a different effect. Where some guys like even a Brandon Rios or whoever, Canelo, they get hit with a shot and they don't start acting weird and kind of changing the game plan. Floyd Mayweather been hit with big shots and he stays the course. Triple G, it just looks like everything is kind of crumbling down. He's been inactive. The body shots hurt him in this Murata fight and the Deryevchenko fight. Canelo's going to punish him. Listen, it's going to look like, I've said this for years too, it's going to look like Brandon Rios versus Mike Alvarado 3, where the first 2 fights were classic and the 3rd fight looked absolutely nothing like the first 2 based on what happened in the interim. And this was Canelo and Eddie Reynoso's plot and plan to age Golovkin out, and they got their wish because he doesn't look like the same threat that was punching Marco Antonio Rubio's skull and getting these crazy knockouts. HBO, they had a run in boxing. They promoted him as best they could, and it's time for some fresh matches. That's my breakdown. Gennadiy, guys, the big drama show in Japan versus Murata. Congrats on the victory, but I would rather see Triple G, age 40, end on a high note. If he fights Canelo, it's going to end on a low note. Peace. And I'm out. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation.